Okay, so hey guys, and welcome back to another Sport This Week video. And in today's video, I've got basketball, rugby, ice hockey, NFL, football, UFC, boxing, and F1 news and cricket news. If you are new around here though and you haven't subscribed, please do so. Like the video if you do need like the video, and let's get straight into it. So, starting off this week, I'm going to start off with the basketball news. And so, Warriors won 127 to 120 versus Rockets. Heat lost 113 to 87 versus Cavaliers. Lakers won 123 to 92 versus Spurs. Celtics lost 121 to 107 versus Bulls. Heat lost 105 to 101 versus Timberwolves. Warriors lost 128 to 83 versus Pelicans. Lakers lost 115 to 105 versus Suns. Celtics won 125 to 112 versus Mavericks. Heat won 130 to 105, sorry, I got hiccups, versus Wizards. Warriors won 127 to 107 versus Clippers. Lakers won 105 to 94 versus Spurs. Celtics won 122 to 104 versus Kings. Heat won 110 to 107 versus Wizards. Warriors won 129 to 118 versus Jazz. Lakers won 143 to 138 versus Spurs. Warriors won 137 to 114 versus Timberwolves. Heat won 106 to 98 versus Hawks. And Celtics won 130 to 121 versus Wizards. And that is all the basketball news. Moving on to the rugby news now. Australia won 39 to 34 versus Wales, and South Africa won 27 to 13 versus England. So yeah, not much rugby news, and that is all of it. Moving on to the ice hockey news now. Bruins won 5-3 versus Lightning. Maple Leafs lost 3-2 versus Islanders. Canadians lost 7-2 versus Sabres. Red Wings won 3-0 versus Predators. Bruins lost 5-2 versus Panthers. Canadians won 3-1 versus Blue Jackets. Maple Leafs won 2-1 versus Devils. Bruins won 3-2 versus Hurricanes. Red Wings won 4-3 versus Coyotes. Maple Leafs won 4-1 versus Penguins. Kochkov has signed a 4-year deal with Hurricanes, and that is all the ice hockey news. Moving on to the NFL news now. Chiefs won 30-27 versus Chargers. Patriots won 33-26 versus Vikings. Broncos were waiving Gordon. Pitts has been placed on the IR. Darnold has been placed on. Darnold is starting in week 12. White is also starting in week 12. Buccaneers lost 23-17 versus Browns. Dolphins won 30-15 versus Texans, and Chiefs won 26-10 versus Rams. And that is all the NFL news. Moving on to the football news now. England won 6-2 versus Iran. Netherlands won 2-0 versus Senegal. Van Bronckhorst has been sacked by Rangers. USA drew 1-1 versus Wales. Saudi Arabia won 2-1 versus Argentina. Denmark drew 0-0 versus Tunisia. Ronaldo has left Man U. France won 4-1 versus Australia. Mexico drew 0-0 versus Poland. Guardiola has signed a contract with Man City until 2025. Japan won 2-1 versus Germany. Spain won 7-0 versus Costa Rica. Belgium won 1-0 versus Canada. Switzerland won 1-0 versus Cameroon. Uruguay drew 0-0 versus Korean Republic. Portugal won 3-2 versus Ghana. Brazil won 2-0 versus Serbia. Chalobah has signed a contract with Chelsea until 2028. Iran won 2-0 versus Wales. England drew 0-0 versus USA. Netherlands drew 1-1 versus Ecuador. Argentina won 2-0 versus Mexico. France won 2-1 versus Denmark. Poland won 2-0 versus Saudi Arabia. Australia won 1-0 versus Tunisia. Senegal won 3-1 versus Qatar. Morocco won 2-0 versus Belgium. Costa Rica won 1-0 versus Japan. Croatia won 4-1 versus Canada, and Germany drew 1-1 versus Spain. And that is all the football news. A lot going on in the World Cup at the moment, and it will be the same next week. Moving on to the cricket news now though. New Zealand drew versus India. Australia won by 221 runs versus England. Afghanistan won by 60 runs versus Sri Lanka. And New Zealand won by 7 wickets versus India. And that is all the cricket news. Moving on to the boxing news now. There's a lot of news this week as there was a lot of good fight cards. Lopez will fight Martin on the 10th of December. Cash will fight on the 10th of December. Pacheco versus Luna, and Williams versus Madsen will fight on the 3rd of December. Inyo will fight Butler on the 13th of December. Eubank Jr. will fight Smith on the 21st of January. Bilal Ali won via points versus Garces. Rojku won via TK in round 4 versus Sturshbin. Zakari won via points versus Fawaz. Foru won via TK in round 4 versus Sturspin. Zakari won via points. I've already said that. Foru won via TK in round 4 versus Verdugia. Watson won via points versus Gutierrez. Williams won via TK in round 2 versus Trimech. Eubank won via unanimous decision versus Farrell. Lidard won via TK in round 2 versus Matic. McCarthy won via TKO round 5 versus Krolenko. Dickinson won via points versus Onyanani. McCormack won via points versus Andino. Clark won via TKO round 2 versus Ulrich. Ryan won via unanimous decision versus Sanchez to remain WBC International Super Lightweight Champion. Wardley won via TKO round 3 versus Gorman to become British Heavyweight Champion, which, I mean, in my personal standpoint, is a shame. I've talked to Ricky, his brother, about the fight before the fight, and yeah, I mean, it is a shame, but I'm sure Gorman will come back stronger. And I mean, it'll be interesting to see where Wardley goes from this. I mean, he's not got loads of options unless he's moving up to a mad high stage, possibly Chisora if he loses versus Fury, possibly Parker. I'm not sure at the moment. Moving on though, White won via majority decision versus Franklin. Oh yeah, I predicted the Gorman versus Wardley one wrong. White versus Franklin, I predicted that. I said White will win, but I said by TKO. White wasn't really fully into that fight like he used to be. I don't know if he's good as he used to be. Not sure, but he just didn't look amazing in that fight. But he still managed to get the win. Fletcher won via TKO round 1 versus Krejci. Ali won via points versus Velichkov. O'Leary won via unanimous decision versus Mungangela to become WBC International Super Lightweight Champion. McCann won via TKO round 8 versus Ham. Shiraz won via TKO round 2 versus Wilson Bent to remain WBC Silver Middleweight Champion. Yeah, it's a shame to see Wilson Bent lose like that, but I mean, I believe he took it well, and I'm sure it won't be too long until he's back fighting at that level again. Noakes won via TKO round 4 versus McCord to remain WBC International Silver Lightweight Champion. Ryder won via TKO round 5 versus Parker to become WBO Interim World Super Middleweight Champion. Vale won via majority decision versus Bermudez to become IBF and WBO World Light Flyweight Champion, which I did predict right. Prograis won via KO round 11 versus Zepeda to become WBC World Super Lightweight Champion, which I didn't predict right. Lee won via points versus Foray. Mitchell won via points versus O'Neill. Hennessy Jr. won via TKO in round 4 versus McCarthy. Shikava won via TKO in round 1 versus Ducil. Edwards won via points versus Kabore. Ryan won via points versus Ivanova. Azim won via points versus Amukoto. Gilly won via unanimous decision versus Robinson to remain English Super Welterweight Champion. Azim won via KO in round 2 versus Charlton. Lowell won via stoppage in round 8 versus Jamieson to become a British Cruiserweight Champion. And that is all the boxing news. Moving on to the F1 news now. Sargent to race for Williams in 2023, and Ricciardo joins Red Bull as third driver for 2023. And that is all the F1 news. Moving on to the final sport now, which is UFC, where there's no fights this week, just some fight news. Gastelum will fight Manov on the 14th of January, and Blachowicz versus Ankalaev will be for the World Light Heavyweight Championship, as Prohaska has vacated the belt due to an injury, and so Teixeira and Prohaska will not be happening as a fight, and so the Blachowicz versus Ankalaev fight have been moved up into a main event fight. And of course now it's been made a world title fight, which will be interesting. I mean, it's a bit of a shame because Prohaska is a great fighter, and I'm sure he'll get back to it when his injury's recovered, but I don't know how long he's going to be out for. And I mean, it's interesting to see Teixeira not get the chance to defend, to fight for the belt again, even though he's literally going to fight Prohaska anyway. But I mean, I'm like to think that fight will still happen somewhere down the line. Hopefully not too long now, because I mean, Teixeira is getting a little bit older, and yeah, he's not going to have too much longer left in his prime years. But Blachowicz versus Ankalaev is a good fight. It's a fight that I am excited for. And yeah, that is it for today's video. Hope you did enjoy. Like the video if you didn't, like the video, subscribe if you're new, and thanks for watching.